It is time for the one and only, the premier, the only official podcast of Pro Rodeo. Your Chute Bosses are ready, so let's give it a go and talk some rodeo.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back into another special NFR episode of the Chute Bosses. Tanner Barr, Tim O'Connell, our proud sponsor, Husky Trailer Parts Company, making this all possible tonight. We wrap up round number 6 here in Las Vegas, Tim, and what a night it was. That World Champion race starting to heat up in every event top to bottom, and we started off with the wild man himself in the bareback riding. Mr. Rocker Steiner gets his first round win here in Las Vegas.
It was only a matter of time. We just figured it was going to come a lot sooner. I mean, the surprise with the buck off in round number 2, where he was more than likely going to win that round.
100%.
If he finishes that ride off. And then, you know, going into the eliminator round, I mean, he did a great job. I mean, his hand is messed up.
Yeah, it's got some problems going on there.
It's got some serious problems in that hand, but it doesn't matter. The NFR shows no remorse, and he has looked better as the week's gone on. And truthfully, if that's not a 25-point spur ride on his left leg, I don't know what is. He was rolling to the top of his rigging with exposure off the first jump, and it never stopped. It got faster and faster, and that horse was fantastic. I mean, like I said, he's not in the average, but he's the type of guy that can nullify the average because he has the ability to win every single round.
If you start putting together more round wins, this thing becomes a whole new story. You know, I had a chance to talk to Keenan Hayes earlier tonight. He said, you know, I'm a little bit sore, but he said he got it feeling good tonight before tonight's round. It's something where I think he's going to be sore after every round leading up to this thing. And it's going to come down to, does he not make a mistake? If he continues to put together good rides, it's going to be, can Rocker find a way to win enough money in some of those other rounds, or you know, different guys like Bradley Miller down the line to get right back in this world title race and can Keenan hold off the field.
And Keenan made a mistake tonight.
Yeah.
Like, right at the end of his ride. He did a really good job of covering it up, but he made a huge mistake. And, I mean, they didn't dock him for it.
Yeah.
They could have hammered him for that big mistake right at the end, but they did not. And sometimes it's better to be lucky than good at the end of the day. But at the end of the day, too, like, he has things working for him because he does get another good chunk of change out of this round. But the other side of the factor is you got guys like Jess. Bradley is kind of way down there in the average, so he's not playing defense for Rock. You got guys playing defense. Like,
well, and I think after tonight, Keenan dropped down to 4th in the average.
4th in the average. You got Cole Franks that's up there in the average. I am not sure where Jess is at in the average.
Yeah,
but like you said, you got 3 guys ahead of you in the average. That puts you down into like the $40,000 range. Well, if my math's correct off the top of my head,
let's hear it.
Rocker goes back to number 1 in the world. Correct. I don't know what the gap is, but all you have to do is put a $40,000 gap on Keenan. I mean, tough to do, but if them guys that are riding excellent, I mean, unfortunately, last night when this was over, if they crowned world champions, Dean Thompson was the world champion as of last night. That 79.5 hurt him tonight, hurt him bad. But I don't see him not bouncing back and moving himself back up into this average race. Them guys are going to play a spoiler as a dark horse, if not get into another world title race. I mean, there's so many different ways you can look
There is.
You can go back to the fact that this is a 2-man race between Rocker and Keenan, because Rocker now is going to go after these rounds and try to shut the average of it out.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier in the week, if this would have happened, if his buck off would have happened in round 7 or 8, it's over.
Still got a shot now.
He's got a huge shot because he can win these rounds and he can get big checks out of these rounds. When he puts it on one, it's a big score. It's not a little score. It's not a little check. It's not a 6th place check. It's a 1st, 2nd, or 3rd place check. If he gets enough money built between him and Keenan, he can nullify this average and he can still be the world champion. And we can still have somebody come out of nowhere and take it away from both of them.
We're going to have to wait to see how this thing shakes out on night number 10. Let's move on to the steer wrestling. Timed events were pretty quick here tonight at the Thomas Mack Center. And Scott Guthner, the man out of Canada, the one that told me after the NFR Open back in July in Colorado Springs, you know, I'm not really going to fight for the NFR. I'm a guy that likes to stay home, rodeo in Canada, spend time with my family, makes it into the field and picks up a good chunk of change here in round number 6.
I do a podcast earlier in the day.
Yep.
It's called Pro Rodeo Game Day. I picked Scott today.
Hey, let's go,
I picked
Tim.
Scott. It was only a matter of time. He has run Canada over the course of the last 10 years. Like, them guys, I mean, the Great White North, those guys know how to throw with the best of them, too. It was only a matter of time before that sleeping giant woke up, and he woke up in round 6.
How close did you watch the Bulldogging tonight?
I watched it pretty close.
How about Will Loomis? Hey, it was just 4.2 seconds. That dude, anytime he catches one clean, he about threw that thing out the Thomas and Mack Center. That's a dude that if he stays where he is right now, number 1 in the world, number 1 in the average, no one's going to catch him. But that race is going to heat up as well.
I know, and that's what you said. That's the thing about Will Loomis that he's gotten so good at over the course of the last 3 years. So when he gets his hand on him, they don't have a chance.
No.
They're taking the slamma-jamma.
Yeah,
they're going all the way to the ground, and they're getting slam dunked on the way home. Like, the power in that man, when his feet hit the ground and he's got a good catch, they're making that 180 twist to their back. They're not going to hit. He doesn't give them a chance to hang a leg or take a dog fall. They're just, whoop, boom, done.
Goodbye. Maybe we can get you guys on the wrestling mat together, you and Big Will.
No.
Nope. I love it.
I will. My little weights will never compete with that big weight.
You'll bow out. Let's move on to the team roping. A couple of young kids get the job done here tonight. It's Brenton Hall and Caden Profili, 3.5 seconds. Actually becomes the 4th team to tie that round record at 3.5 seconds. And they showed that, we're here to win some money, and they're as talented as anybody in the field.
Yeah. When you're in the top 15 in the world, you can spin as quick as anybody.
Yep, no doubt.
And we all like when world title races heat up, but just like Scott, you like to see them guys that are overshadowed, overlooked, finally get their shine and show the world, like, hey, we're the best teams in the world too. Like, we can do this just as fast as anybody. It has not been the finals that they wanted. It has not been the start that they wanted. Mm-hmm. But the beauty of the national finals, it is 10 rounds.
Yeah.
Last night, 5 rounds completed. Mm-hmm. We're only at the halfway point. And the Thomas and Mack is unforgiving.
It is.
You have to show up here and give it your best effort every night to get the piece of that. It owes you nothing.
And the big thing about that, Tim, is I don't know who's going to win the team roping world title. The guys that are the top 4 teams right now in the PRCA Ram World standings are all 10th through 15th in the average.
Yeah.
So we might have to start going down the list a little bit and see who's in that 5 to 7 range, and maybe that's something we talk more about, seeing after how tomorrow's night shakes out. Let's move on to the saddle bronc riding, and this is starting to get interesting, the saddle bronc riding as well. Obviously, leading off with the round winner, Statler Wright getting his first career round win, 87.5 points on Jessica Rabbit, and he really showed that he's one of the Wrights, and it's good for him. He's kind of been fighting to get to the NFR the last couple of years, and gets here and gets a round win after his brother Ryder had been on a little bit of a heater.
Does it surprise you that a Wright at his first NFR gets a round win?
No.
I mean, Statler, first NFR thing, he made a really good ride in the E-pin and got thrown off right at the 7-second mark to challenge Ryder for that, too.
He did.
Tickled Pink. Like, he has the ability to strike at any given moment, and he just finally had the opportunity to settle in tonight and show that classic Wright style that we expect out of all of them. Mm-hmm. Like, the legacy that rodeo is going to leave on the bronc riding world, I don't think will ever be touched.
Something we got to talk about in the saddle bronc riding. Not a lot of guys are talking about this man. It's Wyatt Casper. He's quietly 4th in the world. He's quietly number 1 in the average. He's just kind of staying right there. He's staying consistent. That's a guy I think could be a sleeper in that world title race.
He's the quiet assassin.
He is.
He was back in 2020 when we were in Arlington as well. This guy has been in world title races and come up short, but he is a world title contender. Like we talked about at the beginning of the week, it's Zeke's world. We're just living in it. Mm-hmm. Well, Wyatt likes to play in that world. Wyatt is no stranger to beating the best guys in the world on the biggest stages. A lot of his money came through the extreme broncs.
Yeah, it did.
That's the best horses.
Won it for the 2nd year in a row this year.
2nd year in a row. That's the best broncs, the best riders on the biggest stage, and he can go out there and take over everything. Some guys just shine a little bit bigger at the National Finals Rodeo, like a Zeke Thurston, but Wyatt Casper always performs here. And this might be the year that he quietly performs himself to a world championship.
Would love to see it, no doubt about that. Going to be a good race to the finish there. Let's go to the tie-down roping. We talk about resiliency inside the Thomas and Mack being so huge. Find a way to put it in the back of your brain and move on. One guy that's had a tough start to the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo is Haven Medjid. He didn't have the start he wanted at all. Coming off of last year, he sets the NFR average record, just misses out on a world title to Riley Webb. Tonight, pushes it to the back of his mind, puts up a 6.9 second run.
And that's Haven Medjid, right?
It is.
Just like Rocker Steiner, it was only a matter of time. And what, he finished 2nd last night?
Yeah, he did.
So there you go. It was only a matter of time before he heats up. And once you let somebody like that start heating up, that train don't stop for anybody. That's a world champion that knows how to perform in this arena and knows how to seriously win in this arena. Like you said, set the average record last year. He is fantastic in high-level situations. He can go to Canada and be the same way. He can do it in the States. He can do it anywhere. There's a reason he has a gold buckle. He's been overshined over the last few years by superstars like Haven Medjit, Shad Mayfield, but he is one of the most elite ropers in the field.
Yeah, and he's going to have a good chance to get back into this thing with the next couple of rounds. And I thought, by now we're heading into round 7. We're wrapping up round 6 tonight. We start to think, there's some separation in some of these world title races. I don't think there's any, to be honest with you. And how about Cassie Mowry in the barrel racing? 13:25. That's about as fast as you can get. Haley Kinzel holds the record at 13:11. She's starting to make this a world title race as well.
Baby, we got a horse race.
We do.
We got a horse race, and we're coming down to the final stretch. If I don't want to jinx her.
The barrel, the hit barrel?
The hit barrel. She doesn't hit that barrel, she's in the lead for the average. She is in the driver's seat running to a world title. Now she's covered that. I mean, after round 3, we're like, okay, well, this is Haley's just to kind of walk home. She's got a $100,000 lead. That lead's gone.
It's down to 40,000.
It's down to 40,000. That's pretty much gone. I mean, in the aspect of those two are by far the fastest horses.
Yep.
I mean, they're proving it night in, night out. It's those two show, and everyone else is just playing games at this point. Not to say to all you other wonderful ladies and horsemen out here, you guys are going to have to do something special right now. These two girls are on electrifying horses that are running at the top of their game. There can be another winner in the field, but it doesn't look like there's going to be right now. I mean, they have owned the first 6 rounds.
Yeah, Haley Kinzel wins the first 3. Cassie Mowry wins the next 3.
And they're placing right in there, too. It's not like one falls off. They're catching second and thirds behind each other. Like, it is crazy that these two ladies are running the top gun right now. And this is what I was talking about jinxing.
Uh-oh.
Sisters always hit a barrel.
So far, so good, Tim.
So far, so good through 6. I mean, I'm telling you, in this tattoo league, if I win it, someone's getting a tattoo of sister. I spent all my money on Haley and sister. And if I wouldn't have, I would have went to Cassie Mowry. But this is going to come down to a horse race, 10th round. And if at this point, sister's got to stay clean. But if they bump, man, does the drama going to unfold in this race.
Yeah, and we're going to sit down and talk here with the round winner. Taylor, actually, we're going to yell at our producer. Can you make sure Josh Frost hangs around? We're going to chat with him here for our round winning interview as soon as we're done here. But, Tim, let's talk about Josh Frost. Back-to-back round wins now, and now a guy that has an opportunity to secure that, to take what has been his and what he's been working for his entire life. The guy has improved. He said he's been bucked off all 10 in the Thomas and Mack before, and now he has a chance to get closer to that gold buckle, and he took a big step here tonight.
Huge step. Now we see the front runner in the bull riding. We see a guy that has always wanted it, has always strived for it, has worked hard for it. Now, in the last 6 rounds, we were talking, we didn't know who the front runner was in the bull. Josh Frost is the front runner for this world title, and it's his. There's no doubt in my mind Josh Frost is going to step out. There's going to be some battles. We still got 4 more rounds. But what impressed me the most was last night. He's riding this bull. This bull is running off with him. Goes down, rolls over on top of him. Josh sprints down the arena, getting chased by this bull. Jumps into the roping box. 2 minutes later, he gets on a bull and knocks him out of the park for a round win.
And when we talked about that last night, how important that was, because he stayed right there in the average with Cooper James, and then tonight James gets bucked off, Frost goes right back to the top.
Yeah, I mean, this bull riding race, like I said, there was no front runner in this, but Josh Frost, if anybody deserves it, it's Josh Frost, and he is going, in my opinion, going to go clean this up and take home his very first gold buckle.
We'll see how it shakes out. We'll take a quick break here on the Chute Bosses. Josh Frost joins us next, right after this.
Have you been searching for trailer parts? Check out HuskyTrailers.com for their huge selection of in-stock trailer parts. From axle kits to lighting, wheels and brakes to suspension, we have it all covered. For 62 years, Husky's been keeping their customers traveling down the road safely. Shop online at HuskyTrailers.com and use code NFR24 for 10% off. That's HuskyTrailers.com, where everything ships for free. Husky's proud to be an official partner of PRCA and the NFR. Husky Trailer Parts, generations of trust delivered.
It's time for your Husky Trailer Parts round-winning interview right here on the Chute Bosses, joined by none other than the bull riding champion tonight in round number 6, Josh Frost. Josh, first of all, I just want to congratulate you on your round win and say I think you're starting to heat up a little bit here in the Thomas and Mack. Obviously, you've been good first couple of nights, but back-to-back round wins now.
Yeah, no, it's feeling good. Correct you a little bit. I was third last night.
Oh, okay, yep.
But we got the fourth round, sixth round.
That's what I was thinking
But the big part in the bull riding is just knocking them down. That ride last night was really big. Having the bull fall on me, chase me halfway across the arena and run in there, and that re-ride was dang sure a bucker. And we had to scrap and scramble a little at the end to get the whistle, which hurt the score a little bit. But that 82.5 was, $29,000 82.5, and that's the deal here at this finals. It's a marathon, not a sprint. You've got to show up every night, and we're only 6 rounds down, and it's nice to be past that halfway point, but we're just going to keep that momentum running. And we got our eliminator pen tomorrow night, so we're going to show up and slay another bucker.
How are we feeling, Josh? I know obviously people out there knew that at the Extreme Bulls finale, obviously a shoulder injury there. How are you feeling here through 6 nights?
Feeling outstanding. Shoulder's holding up really good. That was, part of the decision to go home there when the shoulder started bothering me was I was winning the world at the time, but I wasn't going to go into the NFR with a $100,000 lead, and so I knew whether I came in first or fifth, we were going to be, within one bull at the NFR from being the world champion. And so we made it the priority to show up, and whoever rode the best at Vegas was going to be the champ. And so I made that my priority. And, we did 2-3 months of serious physical therapy on the shoulder, and ended up being able to get on about 14 head of practice bulls. And I really worked on my get-offs getting on those practice bulls. That being said, that hindered me a little bit because I've only executed one good get-off here. So the rest of the body's feeling a little bit because I keep landing a little bit rough, but the shoulder's feeling outstanding, so that's great.
Well, that's great, man. We have 4 rounds to go here in Las Vegas. What's it going to take for you to capture that first gold buckle? Just
keep knocking them down. We came in here with a little different focus this year. The last couple of years coming in, I've really put the energy into being the world champion, and kind of got caught up in the world championship race. I got to beat Sage, I got to beat Stetson, got to beat Kai. And this year we kind of went about it with a little different focus of, the goal is to be the world champion, but the goal is to go win first place every night and really try to treat this as 10-1 headers, show up and capitalize and make the most out of every bull I got each night. And we're confident if we do that, we're going to win the average. And at the end of the 10 days, I'm going to be the guy that rode the best and have that gold buckle.
I love it, man. Well, congratulations. Hopefully we'll see you back here a couple more times, and we'll see how it shakes out, man.
Great talking to you.
There it is, Josh Frost, your round number 6 winner. We're back to wrap up the show right after this on the Chute Bosses.
Cowboying is in our blood. Cowboying is in our bruises. It's in our rain-soaked jackets. In our calloused hands, tested by barbed wire and rope. Our mud-stained boots to the crown of our resistol hat. You live out west for even the shortest time, and there's one thing you learn. You can't pretend out here. Resistol. We live it every day.
It's awesome to catch up with Josh Frost anytime we get the chance to. And you mentioned it, he mentioned it. There's a different level of focus there, and you could tell he's ready for this thing, Josh. He's ready.
He's so focused that he corrected me on the round winner. So Cooper James, I am sorry about that.
Yeah,
but,
Coop.
It is 10-1 headers.
It really is.
It just pays off. That's a champion's mentality right there, and the way he's going about it. But it's the second and third and fourth efforts right there. Mm-hmm. I mean, the other championship effort that we just heard in his interview was, we need to go home and make sure we're ready for
Missing
this.
The last month of the season.
That is a tough decision to make. Like, hey, I'm going to relinquish my number 1 spot in the world.
Yeah.
And go in 4-5 spots down, but I can make it up. As long as I can get my shoulder right and I can learn how to get off bulls and execute my get-offs a lot better, I'll be the world champion. That's a different level of focus. That's a champion's mentality.
And he's already rode 5 out of 6 here in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Pretty good start.
5 out of 6. Poor get-offs on all of them, except for one.
He mentioned that, and he said his rest of his body's a little dinged up, but I think that's going to be a world title race to watch for sure. Has anybody pulled away for you? I know that obviously he's in a pretty good spot right now, but any of the other events stacking out that we think who's going to win a world title?
I think that every single one of them is up in the air.
Me too, honestly.
Going into this, I think we all had our front runners in our mind. Obviously, I think the barrel racing is a 2-girl race.
Yeah.
As of right now.
Yeah, that's a little separation there.
I mean, there's a big separation between those 2 girls, but there's not a front runner and who's going to win the world title. They've just taken the field kind of out of it per se. And As far as every other event, I have not a clue.
Same
It's gonna take 32 more seconds in the rough stock and less than that in the timed events, excluding the barrel race. It takes a little bit longer, but it's gonna take all the effort in the world. And I think for the first time, and I don't know how long, we are going to see all events have a shootout in the 10th round. It's gonna come down to one last ride, one last run for a world championship.
Can't wait to see it, Tim. You're getting me pumped up, and I can't wait to continue to follow all these world champion races right here on the Chute Bosses. But that's going to do it for another exciting episode here from the Thomas and Mack Center in Las Vegas. Big shout out to our sponsor, Husky Trailer Parts Company, as well as Runyon Furniture for allowing us to sit in their comfy chairs here for 10 nights. That's going to do it. Until then, keep on rodeoing.
He's addicted to danger, ruled by passion and pride. To pain and fear he's no stranger, but his lust needs to be satisfied. Hooked on an 8-second ride.